And so if you're just joining the video, oh, I'm going to turn my phone off. Don't want that to happen. If you're just joining the class, you're going to need weights today. And we will begin lying down. So make your way over onto your mat, have your weights nearby, and lie yourself down so that you're comfortable. And that might mean having a little something under your head if you like. You can have a pillow or a blanket under your head if that's more comfortable. And let's begin with our feet on the floor. And we have an invitation now to practice mindful awareness. Let's begin with mindfulness of the body. Bringing our attention, our awareness to the feeling of our body as it relates to the feeling of the floor beneath us initially. So recognizing that solidness of the floor supporting us. Recognizing how the body relaxes into that support. And noticing the feeling of your body. Like I can notice that my toes are a little chilly. What are you noticing as you're lying down? Once we've established a connection with the feeling of our bodies, let's begin to bring our mindful awareness to our breathing now. Initially, just noticing your breath, and then beginning to deepen the breath. Let's focus on what it feels like to take a full deep breath in, expanding that breath into the ribs, into the lungs. And then paying attention to the feeling of a full exhalation. So we're going to really breathe deeply now. And it takes some attention, some focus to do this. We don't normally breathe this deeply. And now we're intentionally really making our breath full and deep. And we're consciously giving our exhale whatever time it needs to empty all the way out. And this is a really wonderful way to calm the body and the mind. To just do a few rounds of deep breathing. Very therapeutic. So many people are suffering from anxiety these days. And if people would take some time to just do a few rounds of deep breathing in and out, they might find that it could have a pretty big shift in how they're feeling. So now begin to transition to your more natural breathing and see if you can maintain your focused awareness on your breathing. It'll be a little more challenging to do that when you're just breathing naturally. But this will be a little practice of mindfulness. We're going to try and do that for 1 minute. Just focus on the breathing. The mind will probably wander off to something else. And then the practice will be bringing our awareness, our focus back to our breathing. We'll do this for 1 minute. even 1 minute of practicing mindfulness is a good way to help us learn to control our minds, to be generous and patient with ourselves when our mind wanders, to be less judgmental with ourselves rather than being a critic when our mind wanders, just kindly, gently bringing our focus back. Really good practice. And 1 minute isn't long. We have opportunities throughout the day to do it again. So before we begin our movement practice, let's just check in with how we're feeling physically, mentally, emotionally today. And recognizing how we're feeling, consider what we might want to focus on or invite in this morning. Maybe setting an intention, something we're going to breathe into our practice. And then we'll begin our movement practice. So you can open your eyes if they're closed. Let's give our knees a hug. Nice chance to just offer ourselves some kindness, a nice hug. Give your knees a hug like you're hugging your grandchild. I think most of us are grandparents here, or someone you care about. Sway a little bit side to side. And then just release your feet down. So we are going to begin with weights today. You could start with your lighter weights, you could start with your heavier weights, and you can always switch it up as you go. So pick a set of your weights and then take your arms straight up. Having weights in the hands can help us to reset those shoulders back. So letting the upper arm bones drop back into the shoulder socket so you feel a nice feeling of the back of your shoulders on the floor. And we have our hands, shoulder width apart. We're going to just bend back. So we're at 90 degrees. And then we're going to press back up. So we're going to do a little tricep work here, waking up the tricep muscles in the back of the arms, just bending and pressing up. So let's bend the arms now. We'll take our feet off the floor. So we have bent knees and bent arms. And we'll do the same thing with the arms. We'll add in the legs. Legs go up as the arms go up, and then we'll bend everything. So we're just going to go up and down. And again, we're just starting to wake up the muscles in the back of the arms. We can get a little stretch in the back of the legs as the legs go up. You could flex your feet one time when your legs go up, and you might point your toes the next time your legs go up. So we just might alternate flexing the feet and then bending and then pointing the toes. So the next time you're bending, let's begin opposite arm, opposite leg. So one arm and the opposite leg go up, and then we bend. Other arm and the other leg go up, and then we bend. So we're just alternating here now. Nice, slow, controlled movement. I'm starting to feel it in my triceps. Maybe you are as well. We'll do a few more of these. We're breathing as we're here, maybe breathing in our intention this morning. And then let's take arms and legs straight up toward the ceiling now. So we're going to initially open the arms out and open the legs out. Open out wide, nice and wide. Take those arms out pretty wide, take the legs out pretty wide, and then bring everything back. Again, opening out as you breathe in, exhaling to come up. Again, opening out, breathing in, and exhaling back up. So we start to wake up the muscles of the chest here with this weighted arm movement. Get a little maybe stretch in the inner thighs. We can breathe in as we open, breathe out as we close. We'll do both arms and legs together a few more times. And then the next time arms and legs are up, let's do opposite arm, opposite leg. So one arm goes out and the other leg goes out. We're going to try to maintain midline stability as we do this, and then bring it up. Then the other arm and the other leg. So can you take the arm and leg out pretty wide and not rock and roll. Keep that midline steady and stable. Just keep doing this now. You can go at your own pace, opening arm and leg out to the side and then bringing arm and leg back up. Nice and strong here. As the leg goes way out to the side, the opposite hip wants to lift up. Can you keep that from happening? Let the core do the work. The other arm going out to the side can kind of counter weight that, but the hip still might want to lift. So a little core engagement here to maintain that midline stability. We're going to do a few more like this, opening out to the side and coming back up, and opening out and coming back up. One more time on each side here. Kind of waking up those stabilizing muscles in the core. Next time arms and legs are up, we're going to take the arms overhead, and you might let the weight, the bell of the weight touch the floor. I gotta shift my position so I don't hit the chair. And then with your arms overhead, take your straight legs and start to lower them away from you. And as you do this, try to make sure that you don't start to arch your back off the floor. So you may not go super far, especially the first time. Then bring the legs up and bring the arms up. Do that again. Take your arms overhead. You can let the weights touch the floor and then start to take your legs away from you. Paying attention to supporting your low back. So don't let your low back arch up off the floor, and then bring your legs up and bring your arms up. So you can do this your own way. You might take the legs not out super far. You could bring your knees in and then bring your legs up. You might be going quicker, faster than I am. I'm going nice and slow with the leg extension so that I make sure to keep the low belly strong to support the low back as the legs are extending. We're going to do a few more like this, arms overhead and legs extending out, slow and controlled, and then bringing them back up. We'll do one more like this, arms overhead and legs extending out. And then the next time the arms and legs come up, we're going to do opposite arm and opposite leg. So one arm going overhead as the other leg lowers to the floor, and then that arm and leg come up, and then other arm and leg extending out and coming back up. We can breathe in as we extend, breathe out as we come up. Breathe in to extend, breathe out, coming up. Let's do a few more of these, sort of our more traditional dead bug series, but weighted here with the weights. Doing great. Let's do a few more of these. We'll do one more on each side. And then the next time your arms and legs come up, go ahead and release your feet to the floor, set your weights down, and roll to your side. So you're facing your device. You can support your head with a blanket or a pillow or just your bottom arm. We're going to use a weight again, so just one weight. We're going to stack the knees towards straight forward, like towards your device. So the knees are parallel, so the hips are parallel. And then we'll pick up a weight. I'm going to use my lighter weight for this. Elbow by your waist, fist forward. The arm motion is going to be just lifting up. Or the elbow might want to come away from the waist. Try to keep the elbow by your waist. Take the arm up and try not to cock your wrist back. Keep your wrist as it is. So forearm parallel to the floor and fist toward the ceiling, trying to keep the elbow hugging into the waist. And at the same time, we'll just keep the feet together and lift the knee up and lower the knee down. So we're just going up and down, and up and down. Yeah, we're just rotating the hip, starting to wake up that hip muscle. We're working the back of the shoulder here, trying not to cock the wrist back. That's kind of a natural tendency. Trying not to let the hips roll back. So each time that knee comes stacked right on top of the other knee, and that hip position stays the same, even as the knee lifts up. You don't roll the hips back. Yeah, so we'll do 4 more of these. Lifting up and lowering down, lifting up and lowering down. 2 more. Up and down. Last one. Up. Good work. All right, set the weight down, push yourself up. We're going to swing around to the other side. So go ahead and lower yourself down. Have that weight nearby. Have your knees forward. Knees are stacked parallel, one on top of the other. And then we'll pick up that weight, elbow by the waist. We're going to just bring that fist toward the ceiling without letting the elbow come away from the waist, without cocking the wrist back. And then we'll bring the forearm parallel to the floor. This is our arm motion, up and down. And then with our feet together, we're going to lift the knees and bring them back together. So can we lift the knee without rolling back? So the position of the hips stays the same. So working the back of the shoulder here. These muscles in the back of the shoulder tend to be weak and overstretched, particularly if we spend a lot of time on a device, right? With our shoulders kind of reaching, our arms reaching forward. So we're going to strengthen these overstretched muscles by this repetitive, lighter weight movement here. So let's do 4 more. 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Nice job. All right, we'll set the weight down. Let's come on to all fours. And as you come on to all fours, if you want to cushion your knees, go right ahead. We will be putting the weight on one knee. So if you want to shift your weight a little bit, move side to side, shake your head a little bit, or maybe do a little extension, flexion, cat and a cow. Take a little time here and just kind of loosen up in some way that feels nice. And take a few deep breaths as you're doing some movement here. And then arriving with your spine nice and long, with your weight spread out onto your hands. Let's take one leg back. We're going to start with the foot flexed. So heel pressing back, toes pulling down. And if we press out strongly through the heel, sometimes we arch the back or drop the belly. So let's engage the belly a bit here. And then we'll reach the opposite arm forward. So we're just going to hold here. And as we press out through the heel, you might notice the back of the leg firing. And then let's point the toe. And maybe you notice how that kind of engages the front of the thigh a bit more. And then we flex the foot. And you might feel that in your calf or your hamstring. And then we'll point the toe. And notice how that changes the experience. One more time, flex the foot. And then point the toe. We'll take one more breath here. And then let's bring that hand and knee down. Do the other leg. Take that other leg back, flex the foot. Check if you've let the belly drop. Place some support there, engage the belly. And then opposite arm reaching out in front. Really press out strongly through your heel. And then strongly point your foot. And then strongly flex. And then strongly point. Can you feel how that affects the action in your leg? One more time, flex, work the back of the leg, point, work the front of the leg, again, flex, and then point. Take one more breath here, and then release that hand and knee down. Nice work. Let's sit back on our heels into child's pose. Taking the weight off of the wrists and dropping back. Let's let our forehead rest either on our bent arms or on the floor. Your arms could be in front of you. They could be alongside of you. Just take a few breaths here as you check in. And maybe that intention, that thing you're focusing on is just what you need this morning. Sometimes we might change our focus as we move through the practice, recognizing that maybe there's something else we could use a little more of. So whatever it is, just with awareness, take a few breaths. Use this opportunity to nurture yourself, care for yourself. With our next breath in, let's lift our heads up and reach our arms way out in front and make our way to downward facing dog. Hands firmly planted. We'll take those hips way up and back. Let's shake the head around a little bit and then free up the neck. Just feel the weight of the head kind of dangling off the spine, releasing tension in the neck. And then we'll bend the knee and press the heel down. And then that knee and press the other heel down. Just alternating here now. And then let's bend both our knees a bit. Draw the hips way up and back. Take a deep breath in and out. Let's do that again with a big sigh on the exhale. Deep breath. And a big nice. And then we'll walk our hands back towards our feet, lowering the heels down. Fold it over, ragged out here. We'll take a big breath into the upper back. We'll let the breath empty out. And then draw the belly in and roll ourselves up. Yeah, stacking our spine. Rounding down through the feet as we lift the head up. Let's reach the arms out and inhale them up and overhead. And exhale and release the arms down. Great. Okay, we're going to pick up our weights. I think you might be able to use your heavier weights here. And we're going to stand. Trying to remember. Oh yeah, so we're going to have our feet beneath us, hip distance apart. And I want you to take your arms out like cactus arms. Okay, so right angles with the weights in the heels of your hands. We're going to bring the forearms forward, and then we're going to do heel raise. So we're going to lift our heels up as we press up. And then we're going to lower the heels as we come back forward, and then we'll just open out. So we're going to bring the elbows forward. We're going to press up, lift the heels, lower down, and then open out. Elbows forward, press up, lower the heels, and open out. Ideally, those heels coming straight up. Sometimes your heels veer out to the side, but if you can, try to get your heels going straight up. Open. Elbows forward, press up, lower down, open out. Elbows forward, press up, lower down, out. A few more. So we're working the muscles of the feet, we're working the muscles of the ankles, the calves, doing a little upper body stuff as well. Press up, down, and open out. Great. All right, give your arms a drop them down, shake them out. I want you to come over to one side of your mat in squat position. And we're going to sit into a squat, knees and toes tracking. As we sit into our squat, we're going to bicep curl. And then we're going to stand up, step to the side, sit into a squat, bicep curl. Come up, step to the side, sit into a squat, bicep curl. Go the other way. Step side, sit and squat. Come up, step side, sit and squat. Come up, step side, sit and squat. Come up, side, squat, and up. So we're just doing our squat, just with a little bit of movement. So build a little heat, and we'll get moving here. Each time we squat, we have the choice of how deep we go. Each time we squat, knees and toes tracking. You might check that every once in a while. So we're going to do this a few more times. Sit and squat and step, sit and squat and step. So then squat and step. Really great. Let's end up where we started. Good job. Okay, we can set our weights down for the moment. And we're going to stand at the back of our mat. Let's ground down and our roots down to stand nice and tall. We'll reach the arms out. We'll inhale the arms up. So as you ground down, how much can we lengthen? And then we'll swan dive forward, knees softening as we fold over. And I want us to walk out to downward facing dog. So find that distance, draw your hips up and back, take a breath here, and then lower to your straight arm plank. Pushing the floor away, getting long heels to crown. Let's take a breath. We're going to try a little bend in the elbows. You can drop to knees if that's better for you. Elbows pointing back toward the heels. We'll take another breath. And then let's straighten the arms, pull up and back to down dog. Breathe in and out here. And then we're going to walk our hands back towards our feet, lowering the heels. And we're going to sweep our arms out and inhale and rise. Again, we're going to exhale and swan dive. Walk our hands out to down dog. Take the hips up and back. Breathe in and out. Exhale to straight arm plank. Take a breath here. Exhale, a little bend in the elbows. Take a breath here. This time exhale and lower all the way down onto your mat. Nice. Onto belly. Prone mountain here. We'll inhale up to baby cobra and exhale back down. And then we're going to push up to knees. Curl the toes under, lift the knees. Lift the hips up and back to down dog. Breathe in and out. Walk the hands back towards the feet, lowering the heels. This time, we're going to bend the knees and sit back in a chair and sweep the arms forward. I'm too close to my plant here. I'm sitting into my plant. All right. And then bring the arms up alongside the ears. Push into your feet and legs. Inhale and rise up. Exhale and swan dive forward. Walk your hands out into your downward facing dog. Take your hips up and back. Take a breath. Exhale to your straight arm plank. Take a breath here. Exhale, a little bend in the elbows. Take another breath here. Exhale and lower down. Prone mountain. Let's inhale up to baby cobra or cobra. And exhale back down. We're going to push up to knees. Curl the toes under and lift the knees. Lift the hips up and back to down dog. Breathe in and out here. Walk the hands back towards the feet, lowering the heels. We'll bend our knees and lower our hips, sweep the arms forward. Sitting into our low chair, let's bring the arms up alongside the ears. We'll breathe in and out here. And then push down to rise up, taking a breath. Again, exhale and swan dive forward. Walk your hands out to downward facing dog. Take your hips up and back. Take a breath. Exhale, straight arm plank. Take a breath. Exhale, little bend in the elbows. Take another breath. Exhale all the way down to belly. Great. Let's inhale up to baby cobra or cobra. And exhale back down. Now bring your forearms underneath you. Get your elbows right under your shoulders. Press down, slice your forearms down to lift the chest. Let's curl the toes under and lift the hips up. We could put our knees back down, or we could have our knees up, or we could alternate one knee at a time. We're going to hold forearm plank. One option is to just hold steady. Another option is to stir the pot, taking the hips out and around in a circle, maybe 2 or 3 times in one direction, and then circling the other way, 2 or 3 times the other way. And then just holding plank. Let's hold for 10, 9, 8, 7. If your hips are bothering you, just lift your hips a teeny bit if your back is bothering you. Let's do 4, 3, 2. Good work. Lower your knees, lower your hips, lower your chest, take your elbows wide, let your head rest on your hands. Let everything relax as you breathe in and out. You might turn your head a little bit side to side, or whatever allows you to release the tension in the shoulders and the neck. And then let's press the hips down and lift the legs up, reaching back through the toes. We're just going to start to flutter the legs. And make sure you're fluttering not just from the knee, but from the hip. So you're not just lifting from the knee down, you're lifting thigh, 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 thigh as you flutter. Can you flutter and bring your legs closer together? Flutter and take them about as wide as your hips, maybe slightly wider. Keep fluttering and bring the heels closer in. Keep fluttering and take them a little wider apart. One more time from the hip, bringing the legs in and then taking them further apart. Line them straight back with your hips and lift them up. Take a breath and then release them down. Hovering your head now, bring your arms alongside your body, palms up, fingertips reaching back. We're going to press the hips down and lift the legs up, reaching back through the fingertips. Inhale and lift the chest up. Find length here. And then could you lift the legs a bit more, lift the chest a bit more, take a breath. And then lower down. Nicely. We're going to bring our hands next to the chest. Push back to knees. Take the hips back. But then rather than child pose, we're going to just do some push-ups. We're going to take the hips forward and lower ourselves down. We'll push ourselves up, take the hips back, and then take the hips forward. As you lower down, your body's just sliding down inside of your arms. So they're tricep push-ups, narrower arm position here. Lowering ourselves down and then pushing ourselves up and back. We're going to do a few more of these. Lowering down, pushing up and back. And again. This will be our last one here. Lowering yourself down, pushing yourself up and back. Let's go all the way back to child's pose. Taking a moment here to pause, to check in, to breathe in something that is useful for us in this moment. And then we're going to make our way up to standing on our knees. Step one foot out in front now. And this foot is in line with the hip. We're going to let the weight move into that front foot and kind of let that knee move forward so we can stretch into the back leg there. And then we'll push the weight back. Let's put a little weight in the back knee and shin. Press them down as you take the front leg forward. So it's a more active stretch on that back leg. And then push the weight back. Again, press that knee and chin down and let the weight move forward. And then same arm as the front leg, we're going to sweep it up. And then we're going to sweep the other arm up. Press the back knee and chin down as you reach up and lengthen and lift through your arms, your fingers. And then Bring your hands down. Can we curl the back toes under and lift the back knee up? As we're here, feet are hip distance apart. Let's bring our hands onto the front knee. And then let's straighten the front leg and straighten up. We can put our hands on our hips. We'll bend the front knee forward. Push down to straighten that leg. Bend the front knee forward. Push that foot down to straighten that leg. Do that 2 more times, bending and straightening. We're going to bend the front knee forward now. Energy of the knee and shin going forward. At the same time, pull that same sitting bone back. Press back through the back heel. Let's sweep the arms forward and up. Big breath. And then sweep the arms in front of you. Take the arm that's the same as your front leg, sweep it down and behind you, opening into a twist. Take a breath here. Do that again. Sweep that arm down, inhale and reach up. Exhale, sweep the arms forward. Same arm as the front leg, sweeps back and opens up. Breath. And then drop your arms down, lean forward, fingertips to the floor, drop onto the back knee, push your weight back. Change legs. So other foot steps out in front. This foot is in line with the same hip. And we're just going to start to bend the weight into that front foot and then push the weight back. Now, we put a little weight in the back knee and shin as the front knee bends forward and then push back. So there's a little more action in this back thigh as it gets a nice stretch and push back. This time, weight in the knee and shin, front knee moves forward, and then let's sweep this back arm up. Let's sweep the other arm up, and we'll take a breath, reaching up. We'll exhale our hands back down. Let's curl the back toes under and lift the back knee up. Make sure your feet are not on a balance beam, wide as your hips. And then we'll bring our hands onto the front knee. And we'll start to straighten the front leg, straighten ourselves up. We can put our hands on our hips, square our hips to the front line of the mat. That back heel lifted and pointing straight back. And then let's bend the front knee forward. Push the front foot down to straighten the front leg. Bend that knee forward. Push down to straighten. Again, bend and straighten. This time, let's bend the front knee forward. Energy of the knee and shin going forward. That same sitting bone is drawing back. Pressing back through the back heel, we'll sweep the arms forward and up. Big breath in as we reach up. Then bring the arms forward. And the same arm as the front leg, sweep it down and behind you and open into a twist. Take a breath. Sweep that back arm down as you exhale. And then inhale, arms up again. Again, exhale, arms forward. Front arm leg swings back and behind. Inhale, open into your twist. Exhale, sweep that arm down. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, lean forward. Bring your fingertips to the floor. Drop onto the back knee. And let's transition to downward facing dog. So make your way to your downward facing dog. And move around in any way that feels good. Breathe in and out. And then walk your hands back towards your feet. Drop your heels down. Bend your knees lower into chair. Sweep your arms forward so you're sitting back into that chair. From here, can you lift your heels up and then lower your heels down? We can do this with our arms in front or our arms overhead. Lift your heels up and lower your heels down. One more time. Lift your heels up and lower your heels down. And then push down to straighten your legs. Rise up, reach up. Breathe in. Exhale. Arms down. Good work. Okay. We are going to pick up our weights. And we're going to stand at the back of our mat. And your feet are hip distance apart. We're going to take a step forward. I think I'm too close to the wall. I'm going to move a little this way. We're going to take a step forward and we're going to lunge. And as we lunge, we're going to do lateral raise. And then we're going to push back. I got to move my hand. All right. So step forward with the other foot. Lunge, bend both knees, and lateral raise. And then push back. So we're stepping forward, lunging, raising, and then pushing back. Stepping forward, lunge and raise, and push back. Step forward, lunge and raise. Now, if that's too much for your feet, you could just be here and lunge down and up and just, keep that motion. Or you could be stepping, lunging, and pushing back. Step, lunge, and push back. We'll do a few more of these. Working those deltoids, those upper shoulder muscles here. Push back. Step, lunge, push back. Step, lunge, push back. Let's do 4 more. And 3 more. And 2 more. And last one. Nice job. Okay, we are going to put our weights down. And we're going to do a little balance work. We're going to do 3 different balances. First one, we're just going to do our our tree pose. And when you do tree pose, some of us might be able to put our foot up here and keep it there, and you can be there. The other option is going to be heel resting on top of your ankle. I don't like the foot against the knee because it can be hard on your knee. So if this doesn't stay here, then just rest your heel on your ankle. So once we're here, check to see if you've shifted your weight and try to even out your sitting bones. So one sitting bone's not higher than the other. So you've got one foot planted, you've got your heel resting on your ankle, hands to heart to connect with your center line, ground down through your standing foot, push that foot down. And then when you're ready to work on balance, just lift your forefoot off the floor. And we might be here with our hands to heart. In tree pose, we have the option of spreading out our limbs, our branches, and reaching overhead. We're just going to practice balancing in this way for a few deep breaths in and out. Great. Bring your hands to heart. Release that foot down. Maybe shake that side off. Beginner's mind, like it's a brand new experience. So letting go of your first side, either your self-congratulations or maybe your self-incrimination. We're going to ground through the other foot. Maybe you put your foot up against your thigh. Otherwise, you rest your heel on your ankle. Check if your weight has shifted and try to even up your sitting bones. Bring your hands to heart. When you're ready, lift your foot. Maybe you find hands to heart is a nice way to center and ground. Maybe you like the imagery of spreading your branches of your tree as your roots grow down, your branches grow out. We'll stay for a few breaths. Great. All right. That was balance number 1. Moving on to balance number 2. So, you always can have a wall nearby, a chair nearby. That would make you feel more comfortable. So we're going to go back to the first foot and we're going to bend the other knee. And one option is to just stand on one leg with that knee bent. Next option is to try to reach back for the top of that foot. And could we get that knee to drop down next to the other knee? Check if you've arched your back and try and drop your tailbone down. So you're not, grabbing the foot by arching the back, getting the knee down by stretching into the front of the thigh rather than arching the back. And then the other arm can go forward. If you want now, you can push the foot into your hand and take the knee a little further back and kind of hinge forward and reach out. So lots of options here. And we're just going to hold for a few breaths. 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Let's do the other side. We're going to root down through this standing leg. Again, you can just bend the knee and have the foot behind you. You might try and grab the top of that foot and drop the knee down. And you might just be working on getting that knee down without arching your back. You could push the foot into the hand and take the knee a little bit behind you and reach the other arm forward. So you're kind of actively pressing your foot into your hand. And can we stay here for 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then release. All right, final balance. Balancing on that first leg again. We're going to lift the other leg up, and we're going to place the ankle above the knee, and then we're going to bend the standing leg. We can bring our arms forward, and we're going to try and sit back. You can flex the top foot. So you decide how low you go. The lower you go, the more you stretch into that top leg hip. We're going to be here for 4, for 3, for 2, and 1. And then we'll push down to straighten up. And then we'll change. Last leg, last side. Weight on the other foot. We're going to place the ankle above the knee. And then we're going to start to sit back. As we sit back, the arms can reach forward. You can flex the top foot to stabilize that top knee. The deeper we sit, the more we'll feel it stretching that top hip. And let's stay for 4, for 3, for 2, and 1. Good job. Still always challenge on my leg. All righty, we're going to make our way down onto the floor. We're going to do one more set of work before we relax. So we're going to lie back. I want you to have your weights one more time. I think you could probably use your heavier weights for this. So just for the moment, you can just have your weights. Wait, let me think less. No, for the moment, just set up your feet for bridge pose and then pick up your weights. So the arms, I want your arms out, straight out from your shoulders, and your palms can be facing each other. Okay, and so your arms are just going to press up toward the ceiling and then bend and open out to the side. So it's like a chest press and then opening out to the side, pressing up and opening out to the side. So that's going to be what we're going to do with the arms. At the same time, we're going to lift up into a bridge. So when we lift up into a bridge, we don't want to turn our head. So take your head, look up at the ceiling. And as you do that arm motion, pressing up, lift up into a bridge. And then lower down and bend your arms out to the side. So lift up into a bridge, press up, and then lower down. Lift up into a bridge, press up, and lower down. So lifting up into that bridge, we're working the back of the thighs, we're working into the glutes. We're pressing up and lowering down, opening out. Pressing up and opening out. We're going to do 4 more like this. 3 more. 2 more. 1 more. And then you can turn and look at your camera again. you can keep doing it that way, or we're going to try it with one leg up in the air. So we're going to lift up into a bridge with one leg in the air. And we're going to do the arms as well if you're up for it. So press up into a bridge, press your arms up and lower down. Same leg. Press up into your bridge and lower down. 2 more on this leg. Press up and lower down and press up and lower down. All right, we're going to change legs. Put that foot down, take the other leg up. Try not to put your foot in the middle. Have it in line with your hip. You'll work your hips more. So we're going to press up and lower down. Press up and lower down. Just 2 more. Press up and lower down. Again, press up and lower down. Great. Release your foot. You can set your weights down. We are going to finish up here. So take one set of final movements here. So, you know, I always like to hug my knees and sway side to side. You might take your knees apart. That might feel nice. Open up those inner thighs. You might bring your legs in. You might stretch your legs up and loosen up the back of the legs. You might want to do a gentle twist. Whatever feels good. We're taking these final moments to just close out our practice in a way that feels nice and supportive for however your body's feeling at this point. And then we're going to begin to transition to our final relaxation. So it's a nice opportunity to set yourself up to be warm and comfortable. So I often will put on a little pair of socks. You might put on a jacket or a layer or cover yourself up with a blanket. You might get a pillow under your head or something under your knees so that when you're lying back with your legs straight, there's no strain or discomfort in your low back. If there is, that means that your body's saying you need a little support under your head or under your knees. So we make our way back to lying down. And sometimes this might feel a little like unnecessary or self-indulgent to take this time to practice doing nothing. But this is time well spent, especially after all this time of really focusing and engaging our mind and our muscles very intentionally. Now we let that all fall away. And we let the muscles of the body start to just find their more natural, relaxed state. This is where those muscles can start to stitch themselves together to start to build the strength that we just were working on. And a muscle that has been working, then its natural instinct after work is to relax. So we're giving our bodies that opportunity. And we find that when the body relaxes, the mind is inclined to come along. So it gives our mind a nice opportunity to relax as well. So we just allow this process to begin to unfold. Letting go of any need to do anything, any need to be any particular way. We're not striving for anything now. No need to work to achieve. Allowing ourselves to drop into a place of ease, openness, and relaxation. Even if our lives are less busy now, our minds are always going. Giving ourselves this little break can be very rejuvenating. I'm going to close out our time together today by sharing a reading. You're welcome to continue lying back as I share this reading. If you want to start to transition out, you can do that as well. I read this yesterday, so if you were here yesterday, I apologize. But this is something I think most of us have heard maybe many times before. But I heard it this weekend and it just reminded me of how useful this reading is. This is Desiderata by Max Ehrmann, who reminds us, go placidly amid the noise and the haste, and remember what peace there may be in silence. As far as possible, without surrender, be on good terms with all persons. Speak your truth quietly and clearly, and listen to others, even to the dull and ignorant. They too have their story. Avoid loud and aggressive persons. They are vexatious to the spirit. If you compare yourself with others, you may become vain or bitter, for always will there be greater and lesser persons than yourself. Enjoy your achievements as well as your plans. Be yourself, especially do not feign affection. Neither be cynical about love, for in the face of all aridity and disenchantment, it is as perennial as grass. Take kindly the counsel of the years, gracefully surrendering the things of youth. Nurture strength of spirit to shield you in sudden misfortune. But do not distress yourself with dark imaginings. Many fears are born of fatigue and loneliness. Beyond a wholesome discipline, be gentle with yourself. You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. And whether or not it is clear to you, no doubt the universe is unfolding as it should. Therefore, be at peace with God, whatever you conceive him to be, and whatever your labors and aspirations. In the noisy confusion of life, keep peace in your soul. With all its sham, drudgery, and broken dreams, it is still a beautiful world. be cheerful, and strive to be happy. So with that, I leave you. Peace. Thanks for being here. If you want to come back and share your thoughts on that or anything else,